Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I only had a few minutes to kind of pop in to talk to you about sort of what's been going on in the world. I think this is a worthy topic to talk about. It has to do with the comedian Kevin Hart. And he's been kind of dealing with a really interesting situation. As you know, Kevin was chosen to host the Oscars this year, and there aren't that many chosen Negroes who get the opportunity to do stuff like that. And so I guess for some people that's considered a big deal. For me, it doesn't mean shit. I never respected the Oscars, the Academy Awards, none of that shit. I've told you guys a million times. I believe Black people need to stop looking for our oppressors to give us validation. I've always told you that when you're sitting around waiting for a white person to acknowledge you and to validate you, you're always going to be a step behind. The person who is playing the game is never ever going to be ahead in the game, ahead of the person that designed the game, controls the game, manages the game, referees the game, and has the best team in the game. So in order for Black people to win the game, I've told you guys, you got to change the game. To win the game, you got to leave the game, and now, the thing is, I think the words, get the fuck out, don't tend to be very popular in the Black community. I think that we still have a ways to go on that. But I think Kevin Hart, to his credit, kind of understands that a little bit. I mean, Kevin Hart, this man probably made what, $30-40 million last year. He's at the top of comedy. I'm not sure how that happened exactly, but I imagine him and his friend Will Packer are just brilliant business people. They're partnering really well to create lots of opportunities for Kevin. And now, will he lose some opportunities as a result of his battle with the Oscars and LGBT? Probably, but I think he's going to be okay. Now, I want to say hello to Kim Jones. How you doing? Also, everybody should know I'm in Houston right now. Tomorrow night, December 8th, I'm going to be speaking in Houston. So if you'd like to learn more, go to drboycehouston.com. That's drboycehouston.com. Also, as you come in on the YouTube channel at drboycetv.com, make sure you hit that thumbs up button while you're here. Hit the thumbs up button. Let's see. Your ex-life says, I love your way of explaining things. Yeah, I just kind of think the best way to explain stuff is to be honest and to be straightforward and to use analogies that people can relate to. So, for example, when as you guys know, I'm a finance professor. My PhD's in finance. So the first financial book I ever wrote was actually called Financial Lovemaking, because I said if people understand love and sex, they can understand almost any concept that relates to money. Most financial concepts actually are things that you've understood since just birth. It's just we made it complicated when you get to college and professors like me were teaching you and using fancy terms that confuse you. So anyway, my goal is to unconfuse you and to explain it, to black-splain it. They got mansplaining. I do black-splaining in a way where, it makes sense, where it's like, oh, okay, now I understand what market volatility is. Now I understand what it means to diversify a portfolio or whatever. So anyway, I want to say hello really quick to everybody who's in here: Frank Casey, Bright Star, Wind Sprinter, Kevin Harris, Sophis, Arnolds, Summer says good evening. Gerald Davis says hello, Dr. Boyce. Hey, Gerald, I don't even know you, man, but I'm gonna make you a moderator because none of our mods are here yet. So Gerald, I'm deputizing your black ass right now, and I need you to make sure that if you see haters up in the house, you send their asses home, like kick them in the butt, put them to the side, put them in timeout first. Don't ban them right away. But I see a couple mods in here. I see Nakia Clark and Dual Victory. And by the way, if you want to get a text message when I go live, text the word Boyce to 31996, BOYCE. That's my name. Text my name, Boyce, to 31996. I was going on Research TV, Brooklyn's Finest, David Baker, Dee Day, and a whole lot of other cool black people in here. All right, so let me give you the background on this and why I'm talking to you now. And I'm going to be efficient with my words, which is a little bit of a difference because y'all know how I am. I'll take you all the way out, out into the country and then bring you back to the city, right? I'll go all the way full circle with a tangent to make sure you understand the whole entirety of the idea. But I always bring you back home. And that's why I say this is a space for intelligent black people. People with short attention spans probably shouldn't be here. It's not going to benefit you. It's only going to piss you off. So anyway, here's what happened. So Kevin Hart, somebody brought this up to my attention. Kevin Hart got into this crazy situation where apparently the people at the Academy, just don't know how to research people's tweets. I guess on Instagram, Kevin had made a statement, or Twitter, like almost a decade ago, Kevin had apparently made some jokes about the LGBT people, and these jokes pissed some people off. And I guess these jokes came back years later to haunt him. And I just don't understand exactly how that sort of happened. I kind of believe there might be something more sinister going on. I kind of presume that before you pick your host for the Oscars, you're going to do your research. I know Kevin had already apologized for these tweets many, many years ago. And so I just didn't understand why it was becoming an issue again. But apparently Kevin's jokes, because he's a comedian, comedians make jokes. Apparently Kevin's jokes, where it could be interpreted as offensive to the LGBTQ community. And Kevin had apologized for it, explained it away years ago. And yet they were still like, you didn't explain it enough. You need to apologize again. Boy, get down on your knees and tickle our balls, and we might let you host our Oscars, right? And I don't like that, because I personally have always felt that Hollywood is the home of black male emasculation. Hollywood is a place. Chris Rock made that point. He said black men with a deep voice and a goatee, like a real masculine man, doesn't fit in Hollywood. You got to be a little Tinkerbell ass Negro to even get most of these acting gigs. There's a couple of exceptions, but it's very rare. Even most of your so-called A-list black actors and actresses are scrambling for opportunities. In fact, my friend Tiara KJ Williams, who runs, she's AKA Miss Black Hollywood. She runs an agency called The Real Network, where she casts black actors and actresses for gigs. And she said the big problem is that nobody in Hollywood wants to be black. Everybody want to be something else, because y'all up here trying to coon out for white folks. You're trying to be what they want you to be. You're trying to morph yourself into all these things, distorted, looking crazy, looking stupid, because you're trying to get these people to like you. And I've always just basically said, why would you do that? I don't understand that. I mean, look, you are already sitting on a pot of gold just by being born with melanin in your skin. You are already sitting on top of the most amazing, extraordinary beauty that God has ever created. If you don't believe me, then why do they keep coming to the hood to steal all of our shit? They steal our dances. They stole our hip hop. They steal the big booties from black women. They get butt injections. They copying the cornrows. They want to do like everything that's black. People have always wanted that to be that. And the only people that didn't really want to be black were black people, right? And so ultimately, I think Hollywood is a place where I spent a lot of time in Hollywood. We make movies. We made The Black Love Blueprint, which is a film that's coming out on Valentine's Day, and a few other films. So we go to LA a lot, and I meet a lot of actors and actresses and directors and producers and writers. Everybody in Hollywood is a writer, rapper, whatever the fuck. Everybody wants to get into entertainment. And the thing that really baffled me is that when I get out there, you notice this real deep affinity for whiteness. Like they really love white people there. They really have this thing where they're like, they go to bed at night and they're like, please, white Jesus, turn me white by the morning time. I promise you, I will serve you for the rest of my life if you help me wake up as a white boy. Like that, they don't like the black. A lot of the black men do not like the black women. The mindset is really, really fucked up. And so Hollywood is kind of a weird place. It's a very weird place, but smart people, very talented people. In fact, actors and actresses are among the most disciplined people I've ever seen. They'll go to a movie set, they'll sit around for 10, 12 hours and not even be getting paid, won't even be getting paid, but we'll sit on the set for 10 or 12 hours because everybody's trying to get this opportunity. So what's happened is they control your black ass. Here's how they control black people in Hollywood. This is an economic concept. So I'm gonna put on my black finance professor hat. So this is black finance professor. Okay, so y'all just know y'all hear from a PhD, not just some guy talking out the side of his neck. The thing is, the problem in Hollywood is that you have an oversupply of talent and an undersupply of opportunities. You have an oversupply of black talent and an undersupply of opportunities for black people. And they know this. So you're having a negotiation where it's like a seesaw, where on one side you got an 800-pound gorilla, and on the other side you got like a little chihuahua, right? So you have an oversupply of black opportunities. Boom, that's the 800-pound gorilla. 10,000 Negroes lining up for an audition. They're like looking, it'll say in the little script, looking for black male thug, must not have all his teeth, must be able to call women bitches and hoes, walk with a limp, hold his penis, and sound like he didn't get past the 4th grade. And you will have 1,000 Negroes lined up for that gig. all of whom went to Juilliard and Yale and shit, like smart black people who were like, what up, bitch? Like, what up, motherfucker? My nigga. Like really practicing, trying to act like thugs, trying to act dumbed down because that's what they want. They want you to be a thug. That's why I think about it. That why do you think Denzel Washington didn't get acknowledged by the Oscars and the Academy till he did Training Day? They didn't do shit when he did Malcolm X and he did all these Glory. He did all these other brilliant roles. Denzel, this brilliant actor. I saw Denzel on Broadway, and oh my God, I was in the third row, and it did not take me long to understand why this man is famous. He is such a great actor. So good, so disciplined. He didn't have to be doing Broadway. He did it because he loves acting and he's good at it. But yet he's in Training Day, right? And he's acting like a stereotype. They should have just called his character Stereotype Johnson, like Stereo Wilson. Like that's all. Every black male stereotype you can imagine. Some white person wrote this in a fucking script. A lot of these damn black movies with black characters are written by white people. And they said, oh, this is the magic Negro. This is perfect. That's so perfect. That's so authentic. That performance, Denzel, it was so real. Oh my goodness, right? And if Denzel had been playing, a black engineer, a black rocket scientist, a black attorney or whatever, like they don't acknowledge it in the same way. They don't get excited in the same way. Because I really think that these are people that get almost damn near sexually aroused when they see a black man acting out that thug role. I think they like that. I think it's a coincidence that Terry Crews, the big muscular black man who dances a lot, but he smiles a lot, so he's like intriguing because they're trying to get in these dudes' pants, right? The gay agenda is real in Hollywood. It's very, very real. If you want to succeed in Hollywood, if you're gay or Jewish or both, you're going to do well. Look at AKA Lee Daniels, okay? So because he talks about how his kids read Anne Frank 3 times, but they never read Roots. And his boyfriend was Jewish. So I'm not dissing, I'm not hating. I'm actually giving credit. Like that's your power. That's what it is. But you got to call it what it is. So why do you think Terry Crews does so well in Hollywood? Because he's got these big old muscles, so they get really aroused when they say, "Ooh, I'm gonna get that man," right? And then though he smiles a lot, so he's safe, and also he dances, he entertains, and all this other stuff. And then next thing you know, the agent is grabbing Terry Crews's penis at a party because he's like, "You're not gonna do anything about it. I mean, I control your life." You had the agent who represented Halle Berry and Taraji P. Henson, and who was basically going around looking for desperate black women who wanted to succeed in Hollywood and offering them, offering to fulfill their wildest dreams. All you got to do is show up and tickle my balls once every couple of weeks. All you got to do is show up, and whatever I put in your mouth, you got to be ready to take it in, right? You know what I'm talking about, and that what they call it, oh my God, Indecent Proposal. That was the movie. Yeah, that make that little indecent proposal. That's what it was, right? And then it makes you go back because this agent gets called out for that, and you go back and it makes you look at how Halle rose up so fast, how Taraji rose up so fast, and it makes you wonder how many of these poor women had to make that trade in order to get access to the white man's dream. Because remember, Hollywood was not built for you. Hollywood was not built by black people. Hollywood was built by white folks. Hollywood was built by the Jewish community. That's their power base. God bless them for that, though. I told you guys, everybody who's a student of mine in the Black Business School or even outside the Black Business School should read How the Jews Invented Hollywood. It's brilliant. A Jewish man documented how the Jewish community worked together to basically create this thing called Hollywood. And they created all the awards. The awards were all pretty much made up. They created all these big companies. And they did this because they wanted to control their image of how they were portrayed throughout the world. They wanted to have a power base. So black people should read this book as an instruction manual on how we're going to take over and have power 100 years from now. Okay. So anyway, by the way, if you're on YouTube, please stop 1 second, please, and hit that thumbs up button. Please hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you do that. Also, don't forget, I'm in Houston. If you want to come out tomorrow, go to drboycehouston.com. It's drboycehouston.com. Try to get your tickets in advance because I don't know if we'll have anything at the door. Also, the other thing I want to mention is that if you want to get a text message from me when I go live, text my name Boyce to 31996. The number is 31996. Just text my name Boyce. Okay. So anyway, here a few thoughts I want to share about Kevin Hart. Okay. So Kevin Hart, first thing I'm going to do is this. I'm going to show you guys this video. I'm going to show you Kevin's rebuttal, whatever you want to call it, his explanation for why he chose not to that he chose to bow out of the Oscars. They basically told him, okay, boy, either you sit down and apologize again, which he's like, I already addressed this, or you can't host the Oscars. And I'm proud of Kevin. Kevin pretty much told him to go to hell. Now, some would say that he still apologized. I don't think there's anything wrong with apologizing. I think that if you offend somebody, you can say, I'm sorry you're offended. I didn't know, I apologize, whatever. But I think it's hard for a comedian because comedians, it's hard for a comedian to be politically correct and successful at the same time. So as a comedian, you're always going to piss somebody off at some point because everybody's so busy being offended. Everybody's offended all the time, especially on the liberal side. Honestly, the liberals are the ones that I find that get more offended than my conservative friends. Liberals kind of get offended about every damn thing, whereas my conservative friends might be offended maybe by a joke about God or Jesus or something. But even most of my conservative friends still pretty much let me say what I want to say. I'm not kidding. That's kind of what it is. So anyway, let you guys hear what Kevin has to say. Here it goes.
So I just got a call from the Academy, and that call basically said, Kevin, apologize for your tweets of old, or we're going to have to move on and find another host. Talking about the tweets from 2009, 2010. I chose to pass. I passed on the apology. The reason why I passed is because I've addressed this several times. This is not the first time this has come up. I've addressed it. I've spoken on it. I've said where the rights and wrongs were. I've said who I am now versus who I was then. I've done it. I've done it. I'm not going to continue to go back and tap into the days of old when I moved on and I'm in a completely different space in my life. The same energy that went into finding those old tweets could be the same energy put into finding the response to the questions that have been asked years after years after years. We feed in the internet trolls and we reward them. I'm not going to do it, man. I'm going to be me. I'm going to stay in my ground. Regardless, Academy, I'm thankful and appreciative of the opportunity. If it goes away, no harm, no foul.
So let's analyze what Kevin said here. So you see that Kevin is kind of taking a position where he said, I'm standing my ground. He's being, he's being honest and authentic in terms of, what his position is. I personally was impressed by it because remember, it's easy for us to say, oh, you should be more radical, more extreme. You should never have apologized in the first place. But it's easy for you to say that when you don't have 30, 40, $100 million worth of opportunities that you're going to throw away by saying, one thing or another, right? It's a different kind of equation, right? That Kevin has to solve for himself and his family. I'm not going to say that he couldn't have done more or done it differently, but I am going to say he could have done it worse than what he did. I think that Kevin appears, in my opinion, to be a guy who just basically is saying, look, I already talked about this, man. We already dealt with this. Like, this is old. Like, why is this coming up now? And I'm going to tell you why it's coming up now. Here's why it's coming up now. It's coming up now because during the Obama presidency, y'all's president, the guy that y'all love so much, I thought Obama was okay. He was a great white president who happened to have, biracial parents. But during Obama's presidency, the LGBTQ community got more benefits than anybody else. They got pushed forward. Their agenda got pushed forward more than anybody else's agenda. And what this did was it created a lot of bullying. It basically got them to the point where in that space, you have people that were attacking other people, calling them homophobes just because they didn't co-sign on whatever it was that they said. So that would mean that, if a gay man comes up and says, well, you need to believe this, and you say, well, I'm a Christian, I believe what the Bible says, but I still love you anyway, they'd be like, oh, you're a homophobe, you shouldn't be allowed to eat here, you need to die, man, shut up, idiot. Seriously, what happened to people being allowed to believe what they want to believe? What happened to that? We lost that. I have friends, I ain't gonna lie, I don't even go to church. My mama goes to church. I think I saw my mama in the chat. I'm sorry, mama. I don't go to church. But, I respect people that do. I respect what people do in church when they're doing the right thing. And the whole Black community especially was under attack for being a group of homophobes. And a lot of that really is a tradition. It comes from the fact that they've always felt, especially your white liberal friends, your so-called allies, have always felt that the trade-off for them helping you was for you to always support and believe and agree with everything that they say, right? So they're doing no different from the agent, a Jewish agent who was telling Black actresses, he specifically looked for Black actresses. Go look this guy up. He represented Halle Berry and Taraji P. Henson. This agent was specifically looking for hungry Black actresses that wanted an opportunity and said, I'll give you your opportunities. You just need to give me a little something in the bedroom. Right. I know an actress who met this man, and she said that his game was pretty like airtight. He would first try to impress you. He would take you, you know, to these fancy dinners and some expensive steakhouse where the meal is like $500 or something, and fly you to Paris or whatever and show you all that he could do. And then he would make his indecent proposal. Well, the white liberals kind of do the same thing with the black community. They show you what it looks like to be in the halls of power. They take your leading black activists and other individuals, and they will bring them to white college campuses and have them doing $10,000, $20,000 speaking engagements. They put you on CNN and MSNBC and all these other powerful platforms so other black people will worship you. Maybe in Hollywood, you know, you're getting to be in all these movies and you get to say, Mama, I made it because Warner Brothers paid me $10 million for my last movie. They show you the halls of power so they can get you hooked and sucked in. And then they let you know, look, I might sneak my penis into your vagina in the middle of the night. And if you don't have a vagina, any hole will do. And I just need you to like not say anything if you want to keep this lavish lifestyle, right? So they're basically saying they make that indecent proposal. They do it in politics. They do it in business. They probably do it to you. Many of you right now are working for some big corporation that's owned by white folks, where the implicit agreement is we can help you get to wherever you want to get to as long as you play ball and do what we say and believe what we believe and act in a way that we find to be culturally appropriate. So that pretty much means that your job is to be a passenger on the white man's bus. You are never to be the driver, and you sure as hell ain't never gonna have your own vehicle. You don't even act like you're gonna drive. You're lucky we got your black ass in the trunk, because your community's so weak and pathetic in their minds, is what they're thinking. You're so weak and pathetic that you have nowhere to go. You're the orphan child whose parents abandoned him. So you should just be glad we took you in and let you eat with the dog. And that's what they do in Hollywood. That's what they do. They take our most talented people and they treat them like dogs. They're at the bottom of the list. Do you know that there's a whole graveyard of black actors and actresses in Hollywood? I've seen it. I've seen this up close. A whole graveyard of black actors and actresses that you loved in the 90s, who are literally scrambling around trying to get $1,500 gigs where they'll appear in a movie for almost nothing. Like you bring them a bag of Doritos and a Pepsi, they'll be like, I'll be in the movie, right? Because they're hungry for opportunities, because the gatekeepers of those opportunities are people who don't look like them. And what happens, the reason they're in that position is because when they were young, nobody taught them, look, black man, you ain't got to wait for somebody else to give you an opportunity. You can actually create opportunities of your own. And so, in fact, when I look at Kevin Hart, I think about Will Packer. Will Packer was Kevin Hart's homeboy who's figured something out when it comes to the art of creating opportunities. Now, I'm not going to say that they ain't got a coon and tap dance a little bit, but I don't think it's a coincidence that Kevin was able to take this very aggressive stand with the Oscars, and that he works with Will Packer, and that they seem to have their own thing kind of going on. Will Smith and Jada, they got their own thing kind of going on. And you notice that when liberated black people talk, they sound a whole lot different from black people who are enslaved. Right? They tend to exercise their options a little bit more. They're quicker to give you the middle finger if you start tripping. And so I think that they're doing a wonderful job of taking those steps toward freedom. I just hope that they'll take the bigger steps toward freedom. The reason that it's hard for them to take the gigantic step toward freedom, where you're willing to risk off pissing off a whole lot of white folks, the reason that they're afraid, I believe, is because white people have so much money that if you are a person who measures your success solely by how much money you make, it doesn't make any economic sense. It's not logical to pass up a $30 million opportunity in exchange for something that might pay you $2 or $3 million. You'll feel like a failure. But really, I think that it's okay to say, yeah, I could be making 30 million. I could be making more money if I went ahead and sold my soul and catered to their value system. But, I can still be rich and be free. I can still be rich and be free. I might not own the private jet. I might have to lease a jet, or I might have to get the small private jet as opposed to the big one. But at least I'm going to be on a small private jet as a free black man, as opposed to the big private jet as a slave. Because you got a lot of $40 million Negro slaves in this country right now who ain't worth a nickel to the black community, ain't worth nothing to black folks, but literally are going home saying, look, mama, I made it because I made $50 million last year. Those people add no value to the black community. Now, as I move on, again, if you're on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up button. If you're on Instagram, if you want to watch on YouTube, go to drboycetv.com. That's tv.com. If you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, feel free to read it with your family. You can get it for free, get a digital copy for free for your family at drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. And also, some of you are looking for stuff for your kids. Financial literacy gifts are great for your kids. We have our financial workbooks for children that are done. If you want to go take a look at that, these cover different grade bands on money, stock and bond investing, etc. Feel free to go to financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com, and you can check that out. Okay, the other thing I wanted to mention too is this. Look, the thing about this whole situation that made it interesting to me is that there is a consistent kind of theme that they've had toward Black men and women, where they love to break a Black man down and make him into a little boy, the same way they did on the plantation. On the plantation, when you saw a Black man that tried to buck up and become masculine, well, they knew that they had to break that man down in front of everyone in order for all the other slaves to stay in line. So basically in Hollywood, they do this, and in sports, they do this. They love to take a big, strong Black man who gets too out of pocket and, thinks he's something more than what he might be in their mind. And they love to sort of have him, parade him on TV and have him apologizing, like a little bitch, like a little child. So they I think their little fantasy, their little racist fantasy out in Hollywood was to basically say, we're going to take this guy who's a hero to the Black community, and we're going to get him on TV and have him apologize to show that you must bow to the LGBTQ agenda, even if you don't agree with it. You must bow to that agenda. And it's a show of power, a show of force on behalf of that community. And it's also a reminder to anybody else, like, look, if you want to be the next Kevin Hart, you better know how to bow down. If you can't bow down, then you can't come up in the halls of power. Now, let me tell you, though, why this makes sense, though. If I were them, I'd do the same thing. Let me tell you why I do the same thing. If I was a Hollywood, Jewish / LGBT / whatever liberal type person, and I'm running this shit. This is my house. We built this house called Hollywood for us and the people that we love. If you come up in my house, then yeah, you're going to have to bow to our agenda. You come up in my house in a system I built, you're going to have to have some alignment in values with me. If you're a white supremacist, you're not going to be able to come and say, I work for Boyce Watkins Enterprises. That's not going to work. It's not. You're probably not going to fit into the culture. Do you understand? It's logical. It's logical. So it probably sounds crazy for me to say this, but I'm not even saying that these are bad people. I'm saying that they're human. I'm saying that we need to look at us as much as we look at them. We need to ask ourselves, why are we always running up behind white folks, asking white folks to take care of us when we should be taking care of ourselves and taking care of each other? Why are you always running up behind somebody else to do what your own community should be doing for you? Look, if you think Kevin Hart is talented, I would love it when we have a day, which won't be long. It's going to happen soon, where a group of Black men and women get together and say, Kevin Hart is talented and he belongs to us, and we're going to finance a movie, and we're going to put this movie out, and all the Black people are going to go see it because we all love Kevin Hart. We want to make sure that he's good. We want to make sure that this Black film distribution company is supported and respected and gets up there as big as anybody else. Before we go see everything else, like Black Panther made by Disney, we're going to go see the movie made by the Black production company so we can make sure that they're well taken care of. Right. And so all of this really, again, this goes back to an economic conversation. All this is about money. Let me put on my Black finance professor hat again. Okay, I'm putting that back on again. Basically, this is about money, mainly because if you took money out of the equation, if money was not affected by any of this, Kevin wouldn't have had to address anything. Kevin wouldn't be trying to tiptoe and walk up the fine line because I believe Kevin is concerned that that they're going to retaliate against him. I think that there will be retaliation. I think that he's going to pay a price for the fact that he did not bow. And I'd encourage him to stay strong. You're already rich, man. You're already famous. You're going to be rich and famous no matter what. So maybe instead of making 40 million next year, you make 15 million. Who gives a fuck, man? Like, that's okay. You're still going to be all right. You're still going to be okay. All money ain't good money. And I think it's important for us to understand this because we live in a world where we think that you should go for all the money, no matter what, no matter who's giving it to you, no matter what they ask you to do. You can't think that way. You got to say, what point is going to be enough for me where maybe in the beginning I coon out, maybe you coon out in the beginning because, you're afraid and you are broke and you got to feed your kids. Okay, I can understand that. You know, all of us do that. All of us coon out. My manager's calling me, so I think I might have to actually go. But, you know, all of us coon out. You know, all of us coon out a little bit in the beginning because maybe we don't know ourselves. Maybe we're trying to find an opportunity. Maybe we're trying to feed our kids, right? And it's cool. So if I come to your job at Walmart and I say, you know, I want you to scream Black Power at the top of your lungs, maybe you don't do it because you need to keep that Walmart job. That makes sense. Hey, is it time to go? Yes. Okay, all right. Give me like 3 minutes to say goodbye to my friends. Yes, sir. All right, bye-bye. All right, so maybe, you know, maybe you coon out because you got that job, or you like, look, I just got promoted to manager at Burger King, and I can't, you know, I can't be doing the Black Lives Matter protest right now. I'm gonna do it after work. I get that. I'm not gonna ever hate you for that. I'm not gonna attack you for that. But if you're sitting on $1 million in the bank, and somebody's asking you to do something that's directly opposed to your value system, that's different from the way your mama raised you, or that is humiliating for the community, or something you would never do if they weren't paying you money, well, why do it? Why do it? Like, how much is enough? Why must we in the Black community have slaves who make $40 million a year? There should never be a person who makes $40 million a year who's still a slave. If money does not liberate you, then money has not done its job in your life. You would have been better off not having any money at all. So don't let money make you into a bigger slave, because that's what happens. You get addicted to it and the greed kicks in. And next thing you know, you're like, well, gosh, maybe I shouldn't take this thing because, you know, because I could actually get an Oscar. This is the last thing I'll end on. Who gives a fuck about an Oscar? Oscars don't mean shit. Academy Awards don't mean anything. Do you know where the Oscars, do you know the history of the Oscars? Go read that book, How the Jews Invented Hollywood. The history of the Oscars is that they made that shit up. They made it up so that they could give something to the actors to massage their egos, so the actors wouldn't ask for more money. It wasn't, all it was a distraction. They said, how do we distract these actors so that they won't actually come and ask for the money? They're going to ask for some stupid award that we just made up and pulled out of our ass. So I can create an Oscar right now. Dual Victory and Maxine James and Amatullah and Nels and Jamaican Queen. I'm gonna give you the Boyce Watkins Oscar Academy Negro of the Year Award. So y'all are now Negroes of the Year, and it means a whole lot. So go tell your mama that you made it, because Boyce Watkins just made you the Negro of the Year, right? Like literally, that's pretty much what they did. They made this thing up, and people act like it's valuable. It has no value. It does not measure talent. It does not measure the quality of your work. The only reason that for some people it can add value is if you think it'll help you make more money, because other people believe it adds value. But really, the Academy Awards, hosting the Academy Awards, who cares, man? Kevin Hart, you're doing good. I'm proud of you, man. I'm happy for you and your family. I think that what you did was, the Boyce Watkins assessment on this, not that this actually matters, but my assessment is that we should, you know, congratulate him for having some balls in Hollywood, because there's a lot of Black folks who would have bowed and scraped and begged and apologized and looked all pathetic on TV. And we got enough pathetic Black men in this world. We need some real men to stand up to all that nonsense. So that's it, guys. I'm about to get out of here. Again, I'm in Houston this week. If you want to come out, go to drboycehouston.com. That's drboycehouston.com. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button before you get up out of here. Please share this video. Also, last but not least, if you want to learn about stock market investing and all that, because you know I talked about that this morning, we actually have a huge discount on a lifetime membership in my stock market investing class. It makes a great gift for anybody in your family that you want to give the lifelong gift of financial literacy to. You can go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. It's a degree program in the Black Business School. So once they go through all the curricula, you can get a certificate. You can print out, put it, frame it, put it on your wall. It's big for your kids' self-esteem. So I think you're going to love it. So feel free to go check that out. I'm out of here, guys. Have a great day, and I shall see you soon. Bye-bye.